Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to Popternative. This is the podcast and talk show where we have digital discussions, the worlds of TV, film, news, sports, music, pop culture, everything. Really, depending on the guest, we talk about it all. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On social media, you know me as PD Beats. You will soon recognize my guest from a new show on Netflix called Zero Chill. We're with Grace Beedie. Grace, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to be here.
I'm excited to chat with you. I mean, it's like a calm before the storm moment a little bit. I mean, it's 2 weeks away until the show gets released. What's that kind of been like for you and the cast and crew? Because you filmed this show and now you're just waiting patiently. What's that been like?
It's honestly been really exciting and really great to connect with my castmates again, because it's such an international cast, and with all the time change and whatever, all of our group chats with each other are blowing up, and we're communicating over TikTok and things like that and making videos together. It's been really fun.
Absolutely. Now I need to know, what's the familiarity with you before going in this show with figure skating and hockey? Was there a familiarity? Did you play? Were you a figure skater? Was there anything?
Oh yeah, no, I learned to skate when I was 3 from my dad. And then when I was 10, Vancouver hosted the 2010 Olympics, and my mom took my brother, sister, and we sat like just next to the kiss and cry. So it's where the skaters get off and hear their scores. And I was completely mesmerized, and I looked at my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Whatever that is, I'm doing that. I want to fly. And so I'm very familiar with figure skating.
No, that's awesome. The show has it's interesting because it's almost a tale of two shows, because it's about figure skating, it's about hockey, you see your family and the sports, but then it's also about relationships, growing, and everything as well. Isn't it interesting that it's almost like a tale of two shows a little bit, Grace? Because there's kind of the sports aspect of it, but then it's a lot more than just sports if you think about it.
Oh, for sure. I think sports are a really big part of a lot of people's lives, and I think it's important to talk about how that plays into family dynamics and even just commuting kids to the rink and different sports and how that takes up your time. And I do think that it speaks to a larger audience by having it be two sports.
Oh, absolutely. Now, I'm from Canada. I'm from Ottawa. I work in hockey. I'm familiar with everything, and the concept of your brother getting this scholarship at a prep school in Europe is something I'm like familiar with. Is it interesting though that you're going to be able to this scenario and hockey and figure skating, because of Netflix, the worldwide kind of scale that they have and the reach they have, those sports are going to be able to be like get a little bit more exposure. Have you ever thought about that as well because of Netflix?
Oh, totally. And I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to tell that story and tell it from the perspective of someone who did grow up playing and competing in the sport, because I think that that's not always something that you find in an actor as well. And I think that they're both such special sports that teach you a lot about dedication and drive. And I think that that's something that can be a sport that anybody plays.
Throughout the whole series, your character has a lot of ups and downs. It's an emotional roller coaster. She's adapting to a lot of situations. She's adapting to a lot of change that comes pretty quick. There's a lot of change that happens, and your character needs to kind of just roll with the punches, so to speak. How do you prepare for a role like that, like a complex character that has to kind of go through everything? Because it's fast-paced, like the worlds of figure skating and hockey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I think that my approach to playing Kayla was having a lot of compassion, just going into every scene of being like, how would it feel to be 15 and going through moving and feeling kind of like you've lost everything, and then also being compared to a twin all the time and finding yourself. And I think that that's what makes it such a special coming of age story.
Absolutely. You mentioned coming of age. Another word I associate Zero Chill with in terms of the genre and the style is slice of life. It is about everyday life. It's about people play sports, people go to school, people have relationships. There's all these different changes and everything. It always happens. Is it safe to say that these are projects that you really enjoy working in, these slice of life genres of projects, Grace?
Absolutely. I think that I love to tell stories as an actor. And I think that that's what I love to see. Is I love watching shows and empathizing with the people on the screen and being like, huh, okay, maybe that would change how I reacted to a situation in my own life. And I think that it speaks to people in a different way.
In hockey, obviously, we watch a lot of game tape and game footage. While you were preparing for this role, was there any specific research of this role that you did in terms of watching things? Did you watch a lot of figure skating competition? Did you Google YouTube videos? Was there any of that in terms of the preparation?
Oh yeah, no, there was a competition that summer. I think it was, yeah, no, and I watched it live. I went to the rink 3 or 4 times a week, and that was even before I started training in the UK. I was just like, yeah, I've missed this because I took a year off and then I got this job, and I was like, right, I love this and I'm back in it, and so I tried to immerse myself back in the world as much as I could.
When you sign up for the life of kind of a storyteller, like you said, where you're going to act and be in these shows, I mean, you have this idea that you want to do maybe shows about figure skating and it's important to you and everything, but there's no kind of plan. It kind of just happens. But did you know that this was did you have an idea? Because you mentioned in the beginning, Vancouver. Did you know, you're like, no, I was going to do a figure skating show. Did you have that in the back of your mind a little bit?
Yeah. Okay, so this is the thing that's really funny, is that people were always kind of said to me, like, how cool would it be? Like, my sister and I used to just kind of joke about it, not like tied to anything. We'd just be like, yeah, like, it'd be really funny if I had like a skating show. Like, that'd be so cool. Like, get to tell a skating story as a skater. And then it was like, I got this audition and my agent texted me and he was like, hey, remind me what your skating experience is. And I just kind of looked at my phone and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you said something about skating. What is it again? What's your skating experience like?
Yeah, I was like, just my whole life.
This is interesting too, because do you think, because people are going to watch a show and then, research Grace Beedie and everything. Like, you had, like, you could tell, like, I don't know. It's weird because it's the show's happening and you're skating and everything. Do you think people, without researching, I mean, were you hoping that people are going to be like, wow, she actually is a skater? Like, are you hoping they get those reactions?
Yes, I was hoping that it would be something that you could notice.
Yes.
Like, I was hoping that it would be like, because obviously now with CGI, you can make it look like anyone's doing anything.
Exactly. No, that's true.
And I really tried to be as expressive as I could and as myself as I could be in the skating scenes, especially because I wanted to try to transcend the sort of CGI kind of world and be like, no, this is me and I can do this.
Yeah. Now I need to know, because there were some shots at a hockey rink and, you see the ice and everything. Were there any, like, even before you guys wrapped, were there any like pickup hockey games or staff games? Like, did any of that happen?
Did we do that? I never. Okay, so I didn't ever. Okay, so what? Actually, no. What we did in training was, this is a funny little anecdote, but we were training. It was at the time. It was just me, Dakota, who plays my brother, and who plays my best friend. We're just at training together and kind of playing hockey. And like playing hockey and figure skates is like kind of hard. And so I just like took the hockey stick and started kind of skating around and doing jumps like with the hockey stick, whether it was like on my shoulders or like something, whatever. And then in the second episode, you'll see there's a part where I spin and I'm holding the hockey stick. And that came from that.
Okay, interesting.
I was like, oh, I'm just gonna use what I have.
Because I feel like there had to be a couple, like whether it's the crew or like whether it's like the people who are on camera, or whether it's the people behind camera that are working on this show, there had to be one hockey guy or like someone that liked hockey that was just like, no, I got my skates on the ground.
Yeah, no, all of the guys played hockey as well, and our training times were just so fun.
Yeah,
like we'd do races and have like those what are they called, parachutes?
Yes,
and then have to like do laps with parachutes. Yeah, or like resistance bands and like holding each other and stopping and like riding the back of your blade to break and the other person's like dying like to the other end.
Well, it's interesting too, because, and I'm sure this you found this out talking to your cast members and some of the guys who played hockey that were on the show. A lot of hockey players, to get good at skating, actually took like figure skating lessons. That's like a thing that a lot of people don't realize.
No, so my coach, when I learned to skate, my coach in Vancouver, she taught power skating as well.
Yeah.
She taught hockey boys.
Oh, my power skating instructor was a figure skater who did take it easy on us with the parachutes. No. Everything's coming back to me now, Grace. You're kidding me.
Yep.
Exactly.
Your legs.
You know, the obvious answer to this question I'm about to ask you is you hope people enjoy it and you hope they recommend it to their friends and their family. But diving into it a little bit deeper, Grace, what are you hoping people get out of Zero Chill when they watch it?
I want people to feel the way that I did watching the Olympics. And that's been my goal since I started, like since I found out that I got this job, is that whatever resonates with someone from this show, whether it be that they decide that they want to be an actor or that they want to play hockey or that they want to skate or even just something completely unrelated, I want people to leave this show feeling like they could.
Wow.
And that they can fight for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned a little bit in the beginning when you're, prepping for this role, there's always going to be learning experiences. Can you dive a little bit deeper in terms of the learning experiences you had working on this show?
Yeah. This was my second job.
There's always going to be learning experiences.
Yeah.
But there's learning experiences when it's not your second job. Like, you're going to be working down the road, like, for a good amount of time. You're always going to learn something. That's what I'm realizing as well.
For sure. And I think that that's the important thing about being a human and the state of just constantly being open-minded and wanting to learn. I think that that's something that I maintained while I was away, was keeping a beginner's mindset. And I think that that's something that I would encourage people to have, is being like, you know what, I don't have to know everything, but I'm going to try.
Absolutely. Was it also interesting to, because you said this was your second project. Yeah. So was it interesting to kind of see the scale of everything when you first kind of showed up to set? Like, what was that kind of, what was your first reaction when you first got to set, like the first day?
Whoa, what was my first? So do you mean like when we started shooting, or
when you started shooting, just kind of like taking it all in, right?
I felt really excited because we had all gotten along so well and we had trained together for 2 months before. And that was really important and in our bonding. So honestly, going to work with a bunch of your friends and getting to do the two things that I love the most in the world it made it so easy to settle into. And how big it was didn't really faze me because I felt so safe.
I know, it's crazy. It's pretty crazy to think that, this is dropping in 2 weeks and you are going to be officially part of like the Netflix family. That's pretty crazy. We could say that. That's pretty nuts.
It really is. I'm so grateful, and I think about that all the time.
Absolutely. Grace, thank you so much for coming on Popternative to talk about Zero Chill. I really appreciate it.
I thank you for having me. I've had so much fun.
So 2 weeks, it's going to be available on Netflix. Where can people follow you on social media to keep update with everything?
TikTok, Instagram, Twitter is all just at Grace Beedie.
Amazing. Well, congrats with the show, and I wish you all the best with your future projects, and everyone's going to be able to see it. It's an exciting time. Enjoy every moment of it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. This has been Popternative. YouTube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Look out for Grace Beedie in Zero Chill coming to Netflix soon. Until next time, this is Grace Beedie and Pity Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.